everybody. I am excited to share a piece of writing from my book, and I am so grateful for those watching this who can hear my story and join me in what I am passionate about sharing. So I want to say a huge thank you to any of you out there watching this and listening to what is on my heart and mind. Today I was thinking about my homeschooling journey and how far I've come, and I just want to read you a paragraph from my introduction, which is basically where it all began. Within a couple of months, my youngest began to withdraw from the family and mostly keep to himself, while my eldest continued to lose interest in subjects and fall behind. And because I now had a third child, I could not participate in class. The sick days became almost daily, and I began to feel helpless when my youngest started to cry in the mornings for me not to leave, which would also leave me in tears. Then it happened. One evening, while the boys were getting ready for bed, I heard my husband say, "Did you know you can homeschool?" Somehow I already knew the answer to that question, but had to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Sure enough, there it was on the computer screen. My children could learn from home. It was as if I had won the lottery, because I ran straight to their rooms and said, "Guess what? Guess what? You never have to go to school again." But that just really warms my heart reading that back, because really that is where my entire spiritual journey of awakening and healing began, was in those moments of realizing there was another path. I am so passionate about hearing others talk about finding a new path in life and changing something that's no longer working for them. When somebody shares with me that they are so unhappy with the way things are going, I get a little bit of excitement in the thought that what this tells me is that there is something stirring within them, calling them into something new and something better. So I can only feel hope for these people, that hopefully they will recognize this calling and they will step onto this new path. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. And all I can really do is find acceptance for other people's paths, and knowing that it will happen at the right time, or it may not be meant to happen for them. For me, this was a calling in my heart to do something different for my children and for my family. And I did take them from school that very next day. I didn't make them ever go back. And this set my whole family on a new adventure that I had no idea would take me places that were new and that I'd never considered. I want to share that before I had taken my two boys out of school, my youngest had a birthday that was approaching. And I had already organized his birthday party at a venue, and I had invited many of the mothers from his classroom and the children to attend. So this was only weeks before that party that I had decided to not send my kids back. And this actually was a little alarming for some of the other parents. And I remember when I went back to collect my children's belongings from the classroom that they looked at me in a different way and they questioned me, and I have to accept that it was a little shocking. There was no lead up. This just happened literally overnight. I didn't even have time to think it through because it was calling me so deeply, so strongly, that there was no rational thought behind it. I just followed the call and I did it immediately without question. But I had to accept that other people had to catch up. And what ended up happening was they attended this birthday party, but I felt like the mothers were very distant with me at the party. I remember being so conflicted because on one hand, I had the most exciting, wonderful, amazing feelings inside of me for the future that I was about to create for my children. The excitement in their eyes that they didn't have to go back to school. I could feel the love between me and my children pulsating stronger than ever. Something was about to happen. Something amazing was about to happen. And yet, on the other hand, I remember feeling so alone. Like, I don't think I'd ever felt that alone before, because I could feel the mothers were in their own world, relating and talking about school, and that was their reality. And I just didn't fit that reality anymore. I couldn't relate. And I felt like such an outsider that I remember going home feeling almost like rejected and unwanted and unseen. And I believed that it was because they didn't like me anymore and because they were judging me for homeschooling my children. My youngest was 7 this particular day. He is now 20. And what I have since come to realize, that what was happening at that birthday party was not that I was being judged or rejected or that I was not being welcomed. What was happening was that I had moved to a new timeline. I had moved to a new path, and those people didn't fit me anymore. They didn't fit my reality anymore. So in feeling like I wasn't wanted, what was actually happening is I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want to sit with mothers from the school and talk about my children. I wanted to sit and talk to my children now about them and about their lives and about plans that we were going to do. I I realized that I was being tested. I was being asked, are you sure, Lisa, that you want to leave that reality behind and start this new one? Because if you are serious, Lisa, you can't have these people anymore. You can't have that reality anymore. You have to let that go. That's not who you are anymore. Who you are is somebody new. And if you're going to commit fully to that, you have to let go of any sense of safety or anything that was previously known before, and you have to trust life now. You have to trust that new people will come into your life, new opportunities, and new things to talk about with people. So that's what I did. Months after that birthday party, my family and I, we sold all of our belongings and we moved out of a rental that was being sold. We bought a huge 12-man tent and we set out to travel the country, and we moved into our tent with only a handful of belongings, and we had the time of our lives. Our days were no longer about sitting in a classroom, talking about school. We were swimming, we were hiking, we were sitting in camping chairs outside looking at horses and birds, and we were out in the rain, and we were visiting creeks and beaches, and life just completely turned around for us. And many more people actually questioned this new life of ours, and other people fell away, and we just kept moving forward, and we never looked back. And it's been 14 years later. My children are grown and they're in their teenage years, and we have since formed many different new paths and adventures that have brought us so much joy. And now I know that whenever I feel a call to do something different and better and more exciting, to listen to that call and to follow it. And I've taught my children to do the same thing. And in this way, we've never truly been stuck. We've never truly felt helpless and like there's just no way out of reality. We all have seen what life can be like when you let go of everything you've ever known and you just take life fully, and you hear the call and you go forth on that adventure and you don't look back. We all know what that feels like, and it's something that will stay with us as a family. It's something we often reminisce about and we talk about. And while we do different things now and we have different ways of enjoying life that doesn't involve living in a tent, we all have this sense of adventure in our hearts every day. We know that even going grocery shopping can be an adventure. I know that going to work can be an adventure if I want it to. And this is something that is a part of our daily lives. So my message to you all is, you don't have to live life the same way forever. If you are feeling stuck and you are feeling like there's no joy or excitement in your life, listen to the call to change and do something new and different. That doesn't have to be homeschooling. It doesn't have to be packing up everything and living on the road. It's going to be your adventure, your story. And you can create that any way you want. And if there's a calling inside of you, then that's what's meant to be. Listen to that call. Anything that's exciting is meant to be good. And if there are fears in the back of your mind, if you know that you have a choice between staying the same and staying safe and trying something new, I urge you, as long as it is safe and you do feel safe in doing so, I urge you to just give it a try. You might be pleasantly surprised, and once you do, it will feel so much better. I'm wishing you all a wonderful adventure in life. Have a wonderful rest of your day.